The first time she laughed at him, it wasn't cruel, just careless. The kind of laugh that slips out when someone thinks they already know your whole story. She tilted her head, smirked over her coffee, and said, "Single dad like you? You probably can't please a woman." The words landed between them like a thrown glove. He didn't flinch. He leaned in, close enough that she could see the tired steadiness in his eyes, and said softly, "Wanna bet?" His name was Ion, and life had taught him restraint long before it taught him confidence. He was the kind of man who spoke little but carried weight in his silence. Every morning began before sunrise, not for ambition, but for duty, packing lunches, tying shoelaces, braiding hair with clumsy patience, checking homework twice because no one else would. His daughter, Zara, was 8 years old and the center of his universe. Her mother had left years ago, chasing a life that didn't have room for bedtimes and school plays. Ion never spoke badly of her. He just showed up. Every single day Maya breezed into his life like a challenge wrapped in charm. She was sharp-tongued, quick-witted, successful, and tired of men who overpromised and underdelivered. They met at a mutual friends gathering, where she noticed him first because he was different, quiet, observant, not trying to impress anyone. That alone intrigued her. The teasing came later, after conversation and banter, after she learned he was a single dad. It was meant to be playful, but it hit a nerve she didn't know existed. Ion didn't ask her out that night. He didn't need to. His response lingered in her mind longer than she expected. "Wanna bet?" echoed through her thoughts in the days that followed, unsettling her assumptions. She'd spent years building walls after disappointments, convincing herself that independence meant never needing anyone. And yet, she found herself wondering about the man who hadn't tried to defend himself, only invited her to see for herself. Their first date wasn't dramatic. No expensive restaurant, no grand gestures. Just a small cafe, warm lighting, and honest conversation. Ion talked about Zara with a tenderness that softened Maya without her permission. He listened when Maya spoke, not just waiting for his turn, but actually listening. When she mentioned her fears of emotional dependency, he didn't try to fix them. He nodded, understanding in his eyes. That scared her more than any smooth talk ever could. The challenge came quickly, as life tends to do. Ion's schedule revolved around his daughter, and Maya wasn't used to being second priority. There were canceled plans, rescheduled dinners, moments where she felt invisible. Her instinct was to retreat, to tease again, to keep things light and uncommitted. But every time she pulled away, Ion stayed steady. He explained instead of apologizing excessively. He reassured without begging. He made space for her feelings without sacrificing his responsibilities. One evening, after a particularly long day, Maya snapped. She accused him of not having room for her in his life, of being too consumed by fatherhood to be a partner. The words came out sharper than she intended. Ion listened, jaw tight, eyes thoughtful. When she finished, he said quietly, "I don't want someone who competes with my daughter. I want someone who understands that loving me means understanding her." There was no anger in his voice, just truth. That night, Maya went home and cried for reasons she couldn't fully name. No one had ever set boundaries with her that felt like respect. She realized that her teasing, her doubts, weren't really about him, they were about her fear of being fully seen and still chosen. Ion wasn't trying to win a bet. He was offering partnership, honesty, and a kind of intimacy built on trust rather than performance. The turning point came when Zara got sick. Ayan was overwhelmed, exhausted, running on little sleep. Without being asked, Maya showed up with groceries, soup, and quiet support. She read stories, cleaned the kitchen, and watched Ayan soften as he realized he didn't have to carry everything alone. In that moment, something shifted. Maya saw the depth of his strength, not loud or flashy, but enduring. And Ayan saw her not as a challenge, but as a presence that added calm instead of chaos. Their relationship didn't become perfect overnight. There were still misunderstandings, moments of insecurity, and hard conversations. But they learned to face them together. Maya learned that being pleased wasn't about grand gestures, it was about being understood, valued, and safe. Ayan learned that allowing someone into his carefully ordered life didn't weaken him, it expanded him. Months later, they sat on that same cafe terrace where it had all begun. Maya smiled, nudged his arm, and said, "You know, about that bet." Ayan raised an eyebrow. She laughed, softer this time, and admitted, "I lost." He didn't gloat. He just reached for her hand, steady as ever. The inspiring truth they discovered together was simple but profound. Love isn't about proving worth or winning challenges. It's about showing up, choosing each other daily, and understanding that real connection grows in patience, responsibility, and quiet courage. Sometimes, the strongest love comes from those who have already learned how to care deeply, because they've had no choice but to do it right. And as Maya leaned into Ayan, watching Zara laugh nearby, she realized the bet was never about pleasing a woman. It was about whether she was brave enough to let a good man love her fully, and whether she was ready to love him back, exactly as he was.